All right, hello everybody. Just here, trying to get everything in the right spot. All right. Sorry, I was making sure I had a cough drop, so I don't cough your ears off. I'm still losing the battle to allergies at this point. Um, yeah, it's my least favorite time of year. Anyway, so far this morning we're seeing a lot of dollar strength coming into the market. Uh, basically, the Europeans have set the dollar crazy. Um, everybody assumed that the euro would be moving much faster than they are. They would kind of had a I wouldn't say necessarily weak statement, but it was not what a lot of people had assumed. And at 7:45, it sent the dollar flying. So, with that said, obviously, there are some things that are still majorly down. Obviously, you're seeing that the euro dollar is, again, it's been pushing down over the last 24 hours, right? But we had that weakness, and now it has fought back. You can see the last 60 minutes, it's really come in strong. Pound dollar, same way, still up, 69. Dollar CAD down 73, even though it's fighting back. Again, a lot of that is the data from yesterday playing catch up. Aussie dollar up 20, but again, a lot of that is getting eaten up there. And again, there was a setup from last evening. Um, Euro pound, you're seeing the pound strength continue to roll through at minus 43. That's a good one. And then pound yen 75. So not a full day, not a full day's ATR. And then a pound Swiss just grinding higher. So overall, not bad. Today is Thursday is the new Friday, right? Retail sales, although it was split one red, one green, there was a revision, both greens prior. So the core retail number is that double double that we love, right? They increased it before, and then we doubled up on top. Retail sales, again, it was a huge adjustment, and it missed by barely a little bit. So even with the adjustment, it should technically be taken as good. But overall, that's not necessarily great for the we're not going to raise interest rates type thing. So, it should move. Um, Unemployment claims missed by a little bit, but honestly, if you're under 200,000, like it's a really really great number. So, to say that it's going up again until it breaks 200, it's below what the actual average is. So, it's kind of a misleading number, right? Um, we got consumer sentiment at 10, and then we have FOMC Messer speaking. But Messer's statement today is not really going to be a big one, so we don't really have to worry about it too much. All the overnight headlines, really, there's not much in here. Obviously we had Williams. We're seeing some early signs of shifting in spending patterns. Um, Makes sense, right? I think that makes sense with where we're at with things. Um, Lagarde, obviously, talking about how there's a couple things. Talk about quantitative tightening, right? These are people talking about it. Always a 10 of the FX move. Didn't discuss today. So again, weaker than expected statement. And again, that's what set the dollar off. People were looking to send money towards the euro and take it away from the dollar, but unfortunately, it was 2 weeks, so we can't do it yet. Um, we're really very much in a normalization process. So, okay. Russia said that if Sweden and Finland join, then obviously any discussion of having a nuclear-free Baltic is out. It's done, and I get it. I mean, I can't say that not happy about nuclear weapons, but at the same time, understand completely. Um, you know, the organization that was meant to go against you is expanding closer to your border in two additional countries. So why would you get rid of your deterrent against being attacked by those two countries? And it's nice to think that NATO would never do that, right? But according, Russia has been attacked by many people that have said that they wouldn't do it in the past. So it's kind of ingrained in them, right? And that's about it. There's not a whole lot more. There's a buildup. Elon, obviously, Elon is going crazy. Um, gotta love Elon. I think Elon buying Twitter. I like it. I'm not a Twitter person. I've never, don't, it's just never been a thing for me. Never understood it. But if anybody could make it work and make it, uh, you know, take it to a new level, it would definitely be Elon. It's kind of like get your popcorn, see what he's gonna do with it. Um, he's getting sued because people couldn't profit, but it's like, all right, whatever. For just think about all the people that made money by buying it after they heard that Elon bought it, right? Now he's gonna do it for 54, which is like I think a 38% increase. Um, Kind of cool stuff, right? I mean, I like it. I think it's fun, right? I joked about it earlier. Like Elon is like you know, he's like the Luke Skywalker, right? You know, the naive farm boy, that a little quirky that everybody likes, right? Versus like you have like Bezos is like he's like, I wouldn't say he's Darth Vader or like the Emperor. He's kind of like Grand Moff Tartan. He's just there. He's successful, but everybody hates him, right? So, um, you know, you can't acknowledge his accolades, but I think this one is fun. I think this is good. I think if his followers really start jumping on Twitter at this point, obviously that provides the ability for it to go higher. So I think it's cool. Tony Stark versus Lex Luthor. I don't know. That's kind of a weird one, right? One of them is definitely a supervillain. One of them is not, right? Like you said, I don't know. That one's hard, right? Because everybody loves Tony Stark, right? He's the good guy. Lex Luthor, I don't know. I don't feel that Lex Luthor was as successful, Neuro, right? I feel like it's hard to say that Bezos is not successful. Like people dislike him, right? But he's successful. Lex, I feel like Lex never really pulled one over on Superman. I feel like you could say that he was an evil genius, right? But I don't know. I don't know. But no, and I wouldn't say Elon is Tony Stark either. It's a nice comparison, but I wouldn't go quite that far. Um, yeah, I feel like Tony was a drinker, not a smoker. Elon is definitely a smoker. Elon is very Stark-esque, unless you're Twitter blue check. Yeah, it's a nice comparison. I mean, I guess if you had to pick someone that could potentially be the real world version of it, yeah, probably. I guess that he would be the best. I would honestly, I'd say he's probably more like Batman, right? He's kind of weird. God knows what he does in his secret life, right? He's got all kinds of gadgets. I'm sure he he's into all kinds of weird splunking and God knows what else, right? I feel like that's Elon, right? So, basically, even looks like Luther. Look at you busting on bald men. I have plenty of hair, but busting on bald men over there. You're gonna offend people, Neuro. You're gonna offend some people. So, anyway, yeah, here's the dollar. Look at the dollar taking off since 7:45. Look at that. Go ECB. Everybody was like, yeah, we can throw our money towards the European Union. The euro is so beat up, and it's like, wah, wah, wah. All right, the U.S. is going to raise rates again. Let's go. So funny. All right, so let's start with VIX. VIX, I think it's great that the VIX didn't move at all, right? I think it's awesome. I mean, Russia's basically said if they join NATO, which they're going to do, we're going to keep nuclear weapons in the Baltic. And again, you had Russia and nuclear in the same comment, and the VIX didn't spike itself. I think that's great. Retail sales, it's kind of like, what are they going to do now? Retail sales is good. They're going to raise interest rates. There was no reaction. So I think this is great. Again, definitely leads me to believe today that everything can get positive. NQ is getting blasted. Tesla's down. Tesla's down about 2%, but I think Tesla, it's people like, oh god, I got to sell Tesla. I got to go across here. I think the technologies have the ability to pop today. And again, I think Tesla being down right now. Again, it already driven down. I think the Tesla statement is kind of like, oh wait, is he going to divide his attention between Twitter now and not focus on Tesla? I feel like that's not really the case. I think Elon could definitely handle multitasking. Is my opinion. So let's go into currencies. They're both disliked because they are the elite. Ernest, I don't. I feel like Elon is not really disliked, right? I mean, the world's going to end because of Elon. I don't think that's debatable at this point. But I don't feel like I don't feel like he's disliked. You know, I feel like everybody's cheering for him, right? I mean, the guy's a company that doesn't produce any revenue and it sells trucks that were never going to be released, but nobody's pissed at him, right? I mean, what do you say bad about the guy, right? It's kind of hard. Yeah, it's weird, right? I don't know. Anyway, here's the Aussie dollar. Let me go back. I was like, wait, this is way too many candles. So I talked about this with Todd Show today, talking about how our target down would be 74.09. Yesterday morning, again, we were sitting down here. And we're like, oh, we just need to go a little bit farther. We need news to come in. And the market did the exact opposite. When we talked, what did the market do? It drove it back in. So it's the same exact thinking down here was if we push lower, all it did was it ran right back up into this level, right? ran right back up into this level before news and tagged it and pushed all the way back down again. And it's retracing to exactly where we were yesterday. So, gotta love how the market does that. Um, and that's what I mentioned yesterday. I'm like, we got 12 hours to go, see where it is, see where we've driven, see if any new levels have been formed. And this is awesome. That's why I love news trading. This should have been an easy short. You guys should have all been able to grab this one. Ernest, I believe elite is used to refer to the rich and powerful, those in control. Neuro, you're elite. Don't. No matter what anybody says to you. Neuro, you're elite in the aspect that you have all that physical gold and silver in your garage, right? Right? You're elite in that you're still buying that stuff. It's all going to go digital. We're going to have digital gold, right? It won't stand for anything. It's just a bunch of ones and zeros. Digital gold, right? But anyway, I mean, it's a little bit late to get in this trade. It was really from last night. Big question is, where do we take a bounce on it? I think, again, news is kind of in. We're kind of I think we got to bounce off this profit target first, but in reality, I don't think I'm really liking much on this one until we get down to the 73, 75. With the retail sales data today, I don't think this will have too much of a problem. Currency markets are open tomorrow, but there should be less volume out there, less U.S. influence, just because it is a holiday weekend. And again, currency markets are open, but for the same reason why, kind of, there's a lot of the world that is celebrating on Good Friday, so it will be overall less volume than it normally is. Um, it's not like a Christmas where it's basically closed, right? But it is a big one celebrated around the world, so there will be less people actually out there trading. But at this point, I think we wait for this to come all the way down. As I said, we're getting really, really close to that profit target. Um, it's close, and if you guys didn't actually trade the news event, if you're looking for that Harry Potter trade, there was your basing that we kept bouncing off of. Whoops. Bounce, 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 bounce. There was your drop, your base, your pullback. So either way, there was like 5 different ways to get short this position. You should definitely be short. So there's not really much else to say about it right now. But again, that's why I love news trading. Very, very easy to pull. Um, Here's the Aussie yen. And again, we were talking about it if, depending on where we were. And you can see that it actually started high, kind of the same thinking. The market drove it up before the news. So again, we were looking to short. There was the short entry. But even if you took the buy here, you had enough opportunity to kind of get your profit on the opposite side of it. So kind of the same thinking, right? We're still kind of wedged in the same area. I don't really care fib-wise. The 78.6 is not really like a big thing for me. But again, definitely channeling to the downside, finding some sellers right now. This could be an area that you watch out for if you're looking for shorts. And this one saying, well, wait a second, is the Aussie going to get beat for the rest of today? Maybe. I mean, really since 7:30, it's been pushed up close to that 10 o'clock. Are we going to be flipping? Will there be charts go tomorrow, Carol? No. Nah, because there's 3/4 of the things that we trade are not even open. And it's going to be a low volume currency day. So now there won't be any school tomorrow. Always the risk of words getting overused so much that people don't understand what they mean. Neuro, what is an example of that? Epic. Right? Epic. People use the word epic so much, now it's like a forgotten word because it means nothing anymore. Used to hear that everywhere. It's epic. It's epic. Right? Now you don't hear it anymore. So, kind of funny. Anyway, I like this one to the downside. Yes, definitely. See, epic, right? Everything was epic, and now you don't use it. Epic and amazing. Yeah, it's amazing, right? Ernest, there are still people that use amazing, right? But not epic, right? Epic. Um, People are amazed. You're right. People are amazed by sandwiches, right? Right? And toxic. Toxic is another one, right? You know, there's many words out there that people like to use. Toxic, patriarchy. I feel like is overused as well. Everything is the patriarchy's fault. Patriarchy was never good for anything, so it did nothing. It's just nothing but so much negativity assigned with a single word, right? I love it. There's like no credit for anything, right? Um, it's just great. But yeah, I like that one. Sandwiches are amazing. It's good. Anyway, also again, I do think this one turns and rolls and flips. I don't really necessarily love it for anything this week. Just with the tops in here. You definitely could draw this and say, well, wait a second, hey, we got a down channel. And you're right, we do. We do have kind of a channel that's more going down than anything else, right? and we're on the top side of it, so I think it does make more sense for a roll. I really like to see tomorrow in kind of a low volume time where this one kind of ebbs and flows to see for Sunday for some type of a setup. Um, it's an interesting trade. I mean, technically, every single thing we've heard out of the yen all week is, "Oh my God, the yen is so bad. The island's sinking. We're in deflation. The yen sucks." Short the yen all week, and this has managed to stabilize itself. Um, a big part of this too is also the China story. Um, we'll start hearing more about that. I will say it is funny. I don't know where the headline is over here. I saw it earlier, and I had to call the biggest BS on it. I was like, you know what? I don't comment on things. Um, how China built an inadvertent empire. China knew exactly what they were doing. Um, idiot. Um, basically saying that the supply chain, you know, it was something on supply chain shortages. Ukraine is now causing supply chain shortages, or like the reason why supply chain shortages are existing now is because of the Ukraine. I was like, wow, that's not a politically charged. You know, yeah, it's funny. Supply chain shortages, yeah, maybe some small thing. It's not so much Ukraine itself. It's the voluntary blocking of goods and services from Russia that is starting to cause it. But at the same time, it's China who is locked down right now. That's where the supply chain shortages are coming from. We don't get our electronics from the Ukraine or Russia, right? Ford and Chevy do not have a hard time getting the chips they need because of Russia and Ukraine. It's because China's locked down. But it was very, very funny that they were basically blaming, like, supply chain shortages exist in the world today because of the Ukraine. No, no. 99% of them are all coming from China. But it was just funny how they were trying to, frame, your thinking. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to fall for that. Um, Euro pound. Okay. So Euro pound. We were talking about some bouncing around. I was looking for this to pull up a little bit more, and I said, look, we're probably going to go down, then we'll come back up again, and we'll go down. It went down. It came back up again. It pushed down again, and then rallied up right before the news came out. And look at that collapse. So I drew it pretty close, right? I drew it pretty close. And again, we kind of bounced off the two levels. They weren't smooth, but we were talking about being able to get short before that news release. And yeah, I mean, there's the response to it. Even in this pair, from the news release when it came out, you're talking about 60 pips to the downside in the euro pound. So, um, like I said, the pound is just not something that I love this. The sterling falls to the lowest since November 2020 versus the dollar. It's like, yeah, it's quite high right now, though. And it's quite high. I mean, we're at 130, so I mean, it's quite high. Um, it's whatever. And it should be worse than that. But yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna delete all these off now. Like I said, this is the picture that we were drawing for last week, or actually for this news release this morning. It is out now. Right. And again, if we wanted to do a different draw, I think there's again, I don't think this is the bottom. I think it continues to deteriorate today. But I want to draw special attention to really this big push. And if you guys look at this 50% mark, I think this is something there for next week. Depending on where we stop, you know, there could be an argument made that, hey, listen, there's a zone here. And you're right, there's a zone there, right? But here is the kind of the top and the huge push off, regardless of whether there was news or not. Let's remove the news, even though we know it's there. So such strong momentum over there, depending on where the actual bottom is. You see the 50%, we keep fluctuating, or they're, again, where we are right now, it's kind of in between the levels. But we can actually get this thing to touch the 50 and the 61.8 if we kind of push all the way down to 82.32. So I think that there's an interesting setup in the euro pound right now. Obviously, it's not a today thing. People that are looking to trade this today, the hard part is the market's closing soon, right? If you're looking for a 23, you can see that there's something in there, but I'm not really, like I said, I don't really have much faith in the European currency right now, particularly with the comments they made, and I think the pound is going to continue to strengthen. So, as far as bottoms go, the last bottom we had marked off was all the way down here at 82.17. So we got some room to run on this one, but again, hopefully you guys were able to, get into this one. We knew 745 was going to be a hot spot. The market told us that it was going to go up, and I drew it almost exactly what we had assumed it was going to do. Um, and again, huge 60 pip push off of that one. So, yeah, sunflower oil. Yeah, actually, Ernest, I was listening. They talking about that. Like, I think it's like 76 or 78% of all sunflower oil comes from like the Ukraine and Russia, a combination of those two. And yeah, seeds, but they said that was a problem too. And wheat, but China swallowed up all the wheat. It's funny. The United States is like, you know what? We're not going to take your wheat, Russia. And China said, we'll take all of it, and they did. Um, so yeah, we stuck one to Russia, right? No, we just helped China. China got all that wheat for a discount. China is playing everybody like a fiddle right now, particularly Biden. They are playing Biden like a fiddle, and Biden, because he wants the votes, is going to drop the tariffs on China. That's my bet. Is he drops the tariffs to drop that 1% of supposed inflation? China basically said, "We don't care about your tariffs. It's not going to affect us. We're not going to import anything, but you're going to keep buying our stuff." And that's exactly what they're doing. They had negative imports, 40% increase in exports, and they're not buying anything, breaking everything we agreed to in the tariffs, and we're going to remove the tariffs because he wants votes. So, yeah. But yeah, sunflower oil. They said fast food restaurants are going to have to start looking for alternatives for sunflower oil for frying. Yeah. Yep. Ugh. So there will be an uprising when New York can't get wheat for bagels. Probably. I don't know. I gotta say though, Ernest, in all defense of New York bagels, I mean, I worked there for 2 years. I had a bagel almost every morning there. Damn, they can make some good bagels. I'm just saying, it's hard to explain, but damn, those bagels are good. I mean, it's you know what, Ernest? They're amazing sandwiches. Amazing sandwiches. Okay. Euro yen. So here was the euro yen. Here was the draws on that one. It didn't drop to the lower level. It actually held at the top one. So I was a little bit off. It did rally all the way up. It did turn. It did drop all the way back down again. We went right back up again. So let's delete these so we can clean our charts for next week. Oh, all right. I don't care about the fibs anymore on this one. Well, maybe I'll do. I'll leave the 61 on there. But kind of the same idea. What did the markets do? They rallied high, they rallied high, they rallied high, and this is where we were sitting this morning, sitting in this level of basing before the news, and it started to drop down. And again, weak European. We were hoping we would drive all the way down so we could go long, but what did the market do instead? The market held it high, held it high, held it high, and look what it did. It actually 30 minutes early, it started to already push down, came across, and then boom, came back up. And again, if you were using this basing level, it dropped the base, that pulled back, got it, and went all the way down, and now it's turning in the lower level. So it's decent, right? Kind of the same thinking. We wanted to go long everything European yesterday because we thought they were going to get strong, but the market told us ahead of time that nope. And again, the market knew exactly what they were going to do. Love to say it's coincidence, but we all know that it is not. Okay. Um, yeah, I think as far as the euro dollar or euro yen, we're seeing a bounce right now. I think this 35.42 is an area to watch out for. It is ready to 61.80. It was a pretty clean pullback. European markets kind of closed. We'll see if there's any yen playing it. I don't think there's massive amounts of strength coming in the euro next 24 hours, but I do think right now with it kind of hovering back and forth, you can see from really its low to highs for the week, we're kind of hover around in the middle. I like some of these levels higher. This one is done. We don't need it anymore. Don't really need that. I'd probably turn this one red and really start bracketing this one off for next week. 136.99 or here, I'll do this because there 137 flat. Um, Bottom side again, it's had two good reactions off of it, and I think we turned this one green as well. Um, Plenty of movement in it. And again, I think there's 137. Whoops, not red. Why did I do it red? 134.44. And again, I do think there's one opportunity here at the 61.8. Again, coinciding with fib traders jumping in there saying it's magical. So, and it was a decent pullback. I prefer when the red is the low, not the green. But you know, again, beggars can't be choosers. Could we get a 1030 bounce off of that? Maybe. Um, let's see. In this push from this morning, let's do it from there. I, on a lower time frame, let's see. Is there a zone there? Yeah, there kind of is. Kind of is. I'm gonna have to go lower to find it though. There's probably a hidden level sitting right there. Right. So again, people that are looking to get into something to have this kind of continuation of the trend, they'll use a 23.6 pullback on it, and you can see it. All it does is come back. It's going to grab the 23.6 and then continue to push lower. There is actually a zone there. Again, a little bit harder to see. You can see it on a 15. I had to go down to a 5 to grab it. But if we rally up again in the next 30 minutes, that could be a way to get an additional short in. And again, in that case, if we do get short from the 35.86, the profit target's going to be 35.42 on the downside. It basically pops up, grabs this level, and comes back down again. It is a supply zone. It's okay, but it's going to be more of the 23.6 confirming it. Why it's not bad, and it is rather small. It is what, 15 pips. So I guess it's decent. All right, euro dollar. So euro dollar collapsing. You may say, why the heck is this going this far? And again, why are we jumping all the way down? And again, remember, I did say earlier in the week we were going to break 108, and I said that the second target, if we can break 108, was going to 107.75 or 107.50. We got down to, I missed it by 3. Actually, my line is at 107.53, and it came down to 107.57. So I missed it by 4 pips. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same idea. Look at this. Look at this old bounce right off that same level. Really, I mean, this one started again at 7:45. You may say, well, why the heck did this go at 7:45? Interesting enough, look at this. Right at the top of this zone off right here. Boom. Why did it do this? Because they had a really, really weak statement. Same thinking. We've already talked about this before in the euro pound trade. Again, yesterday we were looking for this to hopefully pull back down. All it did was continue to drive higher, 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 higher. What did it tell us? Told us that we were trying to get the price higher so we could sell it ahead of time before the news release. And this was a monstrous move. I mean, this is 160 pips in 2 hours. Gigantic move based off of that news. So again, everything on a economic release this morning did exactly what it should have. It all hit exactly the way it should have, and the market telegraphed every single bit of it ahead of time. Go back up to the 30-minute. These 15-minute charts drive me crazy. We got our chop here, so let's just get this out just to clean it for next week. I think we were doing this on the 2 hour last week. Yeah, there we go. There we go. We talked about some buyers coming in at this yellow, or I'm sorry, the red area, right? Talked about red area. We talked about some buyers potentially over here at 108. We were looking for that to break, and you can see that's what it came down to. Yep, slice through. So we don't need that anymore. We don't really need the 108. So let's say, let's see if we can find a decent bottom to this one. Man, when I said decent, I wanted better than that. There we go. 106 is such a big number too. Let's see. Let's do some horizontal lines here. Kind of a big zone, but we'll change these to green. Got a gap going on right there. Do have a bit of a test there. So it's an interesting level right there. Again, decent pop here, right? Came down in base and then kind of touched it and took off again. So I'd say those are probably our next two downward targets and potential reversals in this one. Could be here and here. Okay. So it looks like 107.10. Oof. Hitting that 107. And again, yeah, that would be a psychological level. And 105.89. All I got to say is if we start getting in this 106 range, all we're going to start hearing about is can we get the euro to parity? In all honesty, I think it has probably a pretty decent chance of getting there. If we can break 106 with their environment versus our environment, man, I feel like we could actually tag parity. That could be interesting. Look at that. It's bouncing right off the level. The same thing. This one doesn't have anything at 23.6, but I think We get a bit of a rally up, look for 107.96 as a potential area where fib trader is going to jump in and continue this pattern down. It is bouncing off of 107.54, so just be a bit cautious with it. But some people will play the pullback, and then again, the 23.6 back down to the zero. Um, it's not a horrible trade. Like I said, there's every reason for the dollar to be strengthening right now, and every reason for the euro to be weakening. But profit taking right now will obviously make a big difference. Okay. Pound yen. Pound yen's in a good spot right now. We were looking for a break of this one. Again, we kind of got the punch through the top yesterday morning. We were sitting here. We were right here, and we were looking for a break, and we were looking for a pullback, and it did give us a pullback. So we called a long. Unfortunately, when we're looking for that confirmation entry, we typically like to have it base and pull back and come through. It did come through. It just blew through the top. So again, I try to give the conservative rule set on there. Unfortunately, being conservative in this case cost us the entry. It did what it was supposed to do, right? And again, there's a little bit of a, you can see that there's a little bit of a kickback right here, right? When it broke through, it pulled right back down, which isn't kind of, we're looking for a little bit of a stall. It just kind of pulled up, pulled back, and then that was the takeoff point. So yeah, it happens. Like I said, the conservative rules are in there for a reason. But again, we talked about breaking through 164.08, getting up to 164.39, and you can see we blew through it with no problems. Um, again, nice little basing here, 1, 2, 3, and broke through. Yeah, so that sucks. Gotta love when it's a pullback, but oh well. What do we do with this now? I'd say right now, I like this one more short. And again, obviously there's a top here, right? Again, you should have marked this top off here, especially because of the confirmation here. And again, you should be short this position right now. I would say profit targets for me, if you are short, are all the way down here. So we got some room to run in this one to the downside. Let's see, that's about another 50 pips, and that kind of makes sense with what we're seeing in the yen right now. So, it's okay. I wouldn't take another long off this level. I'm not interested in doing it long a second time. It didn't slow down enough to give us a base to give us a justifiable reason, but yeah, again, you should be short. Again, 5:30, 3. I mean, here's your 3 o'clock trade. So you should have been in from 3 o'clock, and you'd be out at this point, right? Um, there's your European Open. Oh, I put it right at 1-3. So you were out within the first 30 minutes. All right. But yeah, right now I'm not really interested until we get back. Let's see. Let's run a fib from down here up. Yeah, 50 is nowhere. I'm not really concerned about where the 50 would be. Um, yeah, right now I'd say short more than anything else. It'd be great if we could grind all the way down here. If we could like start to come down and stop here and then grind down tomorrow, I think Sunday night this would be a great long trade. I'm waiting for them to hear how they're gonna deal with the next bit of inflation. So I think that's pretty decent. Pound dollar. Again, not surprised at all. We had so much pound strength. Now this one we were talking about the Harry Potter, and it gave it to us, right? The base that pulled up, right? Pulled back in there. I don't think we made the 1 to 3 though. Let's see. Oh, we did right there. So yeah, the 1 to 3 did, and again, you got a couple pushes through the top. So yeah, so this one did work. And again, this was an alert that we had. It should have triggered. I wonder why did that one trigger. Let's see. Oh, it did. It did. Um, we'll screenshot that one afterwards and put that up there as well. So, yeah, again, doing the same thing. 7.45 weak dollar, weak euro. All the money that was going to be put towards the euro actually got put back to the dollar. Kind of a parabolic trade up. Right now, again, we're so close to 130. I think we come back down to 130 today. Question is, can we restabilize for early next week? I think this would be a level to watch out for. It's a decent base. It just kind of missed the touch right here. But I think that this is a long opportunity from down here at basically 130, right? It's 129.88, so it's so close at this point. I don't need that for Harry Potter. So yeah, same thing. I think we continue, dollar strength, pound weakness, and we'll see what we can do on this one. Okay. And again, is this potential bounce? Yeah, but again, very very low U.S. trading tomorrow, so more of a next week kind of thing for me. Dollar CAD. Look at Dollar CAD, man. Blasting forward. Obviously, the dollar strength coming in made a big difference. We had a profit target here. We talked about going lower. It's clean now. Let's take this off the top. Um, yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's run this and let's see if we. Yeah, there we go. There's why you had your flip, your profit taking come in. Again, 730, 745 is when it took off to the top side, and now we're seeing the CAD strength come back in. Oil technically is down 50 cents, but we're still at 103.72. We're $10 higher than we started off the week. So it's justified that we had obviously that kind of push. Um, I think this one comes back down. I think 125.20. I think by the end of the week, Canada, again, with currency trading, I think oil has the ability to go higher tomorrow as well. Because again, lower volume out there, you can manipulate it around a little bit more. I think 125 is really where we're looking for stabilization. Again, obviously, dollar strength is a big thing that we've been talking about. Um, but again, the technical aspect of this, there's not really a well-defined area to sell on. You're gonna have people using the 1561.8, but that's quite a haul. Let's see. Yeah, it's like 20 pips. So you're looking for 60 in the other direction. We'll probably have a retracement somewhere in here. So it's not bad. But yeah, I think my overall target for the rest of the week is 125. I'd like to start off there at the beginning of next week. Although, again, I am very, pro dollar right now. I do think being pro CAD is definitely something that for those of you that are kind of like stealth traders that aren't trading like the main things that people are talking about. I think the CAD has definitely been a sleeper. I mean, they started to raise. I don't think they're done with it. I think CAD yen has some potential as well. And again, if oil maintains itself above 100, I mean, now everybody's looking at this now. It's like, wow, 103. Yeah, it's not bad. It's much better than 130, but it's much worse than 70, right? Um, and there's no hope in sight of, again, God knows how much additional supply. I don't even know. This is probably a question for James. I wonder what our actual supply amount is. Like, we have like last this week we were plus 9 million barrels. How much supply can we actually hold before it becomes a problem? It's an interesting question. You have to bust that one to James because I don't know the answer to that one. Like if we get to like plus 15 million barrels next week, like at what point can we not hold the additional? Like, do we have to like turn the pumps off, right? Um, And like, can they? I'll tell you right now, if we get to that stage and like oil goes back to the like, it's going to go all the way down to zero. OPEC is going to basically be like, listen, I'm done with this crap. We're not gonna deal with the dollar. We're gonna go to other currencies. Um, that'd be really funny though. So yeah, stay bearish. Dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss. It looks like I think this is number 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it finally broke. So of the upper zone, we had 1, 2, 3. It actually hit a fourth time, pulled back, and then said, "Forget you guys," and blew through the top. So we're looking for more of a confirmation short. We never got the basing. It literally kind of pulled back. You're like, okay, there we go. We needed a confirmation short, and it went right back up. It never gave us that kind of basing, that kind of stalling. So again, it was a no entry, right? We never got the confirmation for the short, and it looks like it finally busted through and all those. So, you know, now we're looking for higher. I don't really need these right now, right? Actually, I'll leave it there to take pictures of it. Um, again, getting no confirmation. Actually, I'll delete this one. These are the next two levels up top, and we talked about these before. This one has been pushed through, but it's not the best level, but it's not horrible either. It was a quick up and down spike on that one, so that's why I think it didn't hold. But right now, I'm looking for this to continue rallying higher. I would say the first turning point, and again, with what we have going on today, you could pretty much call this a parabolic move. And again, it started at 7:30 this morning with the European news to send this higher. I do think we have some profit taking though, because at this point we are beyond. I mean, really, we're at 81 pips from 7:30 till now. The daily ATR on this pair is only 62, so we're already above a daily ATR in the last 3 hours. Okay, if we go from, I mean, I'll just do it from 7 o'clock since it's I guess 3 hours, right? Um, 7 o'clock is here. Yeah, there's 85. If we go to the level, that's 100 and 107. So we're at 1.5 times an ATR in such a short amount of time. We're looking for a reversal. So I think either of these two levels is decent. The 94.45, again, a little bit sketchier. It has punched through there, although, again, if you tag that with a 10:30 reversal, it could be a level that comes back in. Again, aggressive traders would look at that 94.45. More conservative traders are going to look at the 94.64 up top. Okay, it's a better zone. It's untested. We haven't gotten up there. This one is technically, again, that's why I've dotted lines. It's kind of been broken through. So just be a little bit more cautious with it. But I do think we have a reversal, and I don't know which one it's going to come off of. I'm going to draw it off the top, but I think we have a reversal here. Time to get short the dollar Swiss. Now, again, kind of did the same thing. It's nice that this one used the 78.6. So I know there's some people down there, but we've had kind of 3 hits of the 78.6. We never got really the entry we're looking for here. Again, slice through, right back up, no entry, no entry. This is the third attempt through, and it did pause once and kind of come back again. But once it went here, worst case scenario, you got yourself stopped out at break even. Um, again, it's too many attempts in, so not really an entry we're looking for. We didn't have an alert on that one. The 50 didn't hold in this direction. We didn't really need it. Right now, I would say that again, using kind of this level, I think I don't like this zone because the zone that formed was pushed all the way down. So I'm not interested in that one, but it's going to be a target. The buyers that stepped in here have stepped in 2 other times. This would be hit number 3 in that area. Up top, again, this is not the best. It's kind of a trashier candle, so not really interested in that. Trying to find and again, you can see this was a 23. The 23 came in to this level here, right? Um, I'd say right now it's more of a sell for me, but I don't really. It's obviously it's more of a sell up top here, right? We're high in the curve. We just kind of rallied back up again. Parabolic move. We got to be thinking short right now. It's okay. I don't love it. I think prices justify the comeback down to this 125.23 level. It's not a trade that hasn't really kind of hit an entry that I like. It's literally turning just again um, as profit taking is coming in. So was it a justified spike at 745? Sort of, but at the same time, not really. Um, and if you're really looking for something, go bearish on this one. But I think there's better opportunities out there. Almost out of coffee. Um, it's all right. Like I said, huge European disappointment. Stacked it all into the dollar, and now we're looking for reversal. So, yeah, it's all right. Looks like Bitcoin was in the green when we started today, but you can see 9:30 again. Regulatory pressure back down again. Looks like it's coming back below 40. Looks like 40 is a magical number. It's interesting. Jack has Bitcoin at 26, right? He has Bitcoin at 26, but I also believe that he had silver at 60, right? Last year that he's not talking about anymore. So I don't know I don't know. I feel like if Bitcoin could drop to 26, that means the entire crash of the crypto market. I mean, if it takes a 50% haircut, that would be a huge cut. So I don't know. I love my boy, but I don't know. Do I think I feel like if it can get all the way back down to 26,000, there's so many problems with it. It'll just lose complete steam. And I think the catalyst to drive it down there would be complete regulation and deconstruction of it. I think 40 is going to be one of these levels that it has the ability to hold on, unless the regulators come in and make it just so horribly bad. Um, yeah, I don't know, but it looks like all the cryptos, Doji's back up at 14, but Ethereum is also down. TLT also grinding, and again, the retail sales numbers justify bonds grinding lower. We've talked about this before about TLT, and you can see, I mean, it's really been, this is not one of those ones that's been hard since February, right? Since December, right? Inflation is getting bad. Inflation is getting bad. We got to raise interest rates. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. A little bit of a pop in March, right? Right? Maybe not. Maybe we're not gonna do it. And then again, you can see where dividends on TLT, which yeah, just continue to drop, continue to drop, continue to drop, continue to drop, continue to drop. So is it gonna go tons farther? Probably a bit, but again, I mean, this is quite a run. Again, we don't talk about traditional options a lot, but I mean, really, since December, we knew that inflation was starting to get out of hand, and the Fed was doing absolutely nothing about it. You talk about running um, even just like a bearish calendar trade. I mean, no surprise where bonds were going to go. So yeah, yeah, not much to say about it now. Let's look at oil. So oil again. Talked about some areas. I think 99, 96 is definitely an area to watch around. And again, it's basically that $100 mark is going to be a big deal. Talked about some buying down here. I think the 61.8 level down here at 97.21 is good. Where does oil stop? So oil right now, if you look to the left, you can see that we're really dealing with this whole area here. And again, lower high, lower high, lower high. So I mean, if you wanted to draw something here, I mean, you can say, well, wait a second, there's sellers. Look at this, sellers, sellers, sellers. It's been there 3 times. It's already touched it, right? If I bring it across, let's see, how close are we? We're pretty close to it right now. So I would say 105 is probably going to be a, and again, it's not coincidence that 105, 105, obviously large psychological significance of 105. Here we'll make it exactly 105, so no one's like, well, what do you mean? There's 105. That's kind of where they're all turning. I think that's where it has the ability to go to. Can we get up there tomorrow? Probably. Like I said, OPEC has probably not been. I mean, OPEC loves when it's up $10, but OPEC, one of their missions and what they say is they're there to provide stability. Okay, $10 up and down in a week is not really necessarily stability for them. Um, you know, Interestingly enough, we have 10 million barrels of supply this week, and oil's up $10. So it just goes to show you that a lot of the inflation and things like that is not 100% based off of just the oil inventory reports. The United States likes to believe so, right? Biden's belief obviously is a little egotistical. I'm just going to release 1 million barrels from the strategic oil reserve every day, and we'll take care of all the prices. Not so much. Not so much. Again, it is more of a global spectrum. So interesting play on that one. Natural gas is pulling back, and again, I mentioned earlier today, some profit taking is going to probably happen. Again, I mentioned yesterday about getting a 107. Well, we hit 107. We hit 712, almost 713. Right now, again, level of basing right here. We've hit it. We've hit it. We've hit it again. There is probably a short trade sitting in here. I just think this one is there's so much risk stacked into this one. I'm just so hesitant to get short. But again, does this make sense? Yeah. I mean, it's got to go through the 50. There's a little bit there, but again, we talked about this level lower, and that's at the 61.8. So there is probably a short trade in natural gas if you are looking to kind of get back into this a little bit. But again, at any moment, one headline can send this flying. I talked about it yesterday. I'm just in the bullish camp right now for this one. And again, from where we were yesterday morning, we were sitting right here. And I was like, can we get to 7? Yes, we can. It was all the way up at 7 and then 713 after a little bit of a pullback. So I do think it comes down, but again, it's one of those ones. You play the downward, you play the pullback to play the next push forward or what? Um, I just think, yeah, natural gas is a sketchy one, right? Natural gas is a sketchy one. Oh, that's weird. I didn't go live over there. Huh. Start streaming. Stream's already started. Okay, weird. I don't know. All right, gold. So talked about gold being down. Talked about gold coming down from yesterday, and it did. And then here was the 745 today. I talked about gold going down again, and gold did. And actually, look at this. If you draw a horizontal line, I didn't do bad about where I drew my gold price to. It just did it much, much faster. Look at that. It literally came down to the point. So instead of drawing it this way, I should have drawn it, I guess, this way, right? Because it almost immediately came all the way down to the target of where we thought it was going to go to. So, again, same reason I'm long natural gas. Again, I believe in shorts for gold right now. I've been saying it for multiple days. Yesterday, we talked about a peak, a top up there, and that's exactly what we got. It did drop down about halfway before pulling that back up right before the news release. And again, telltale sign that it's going to go in that direction. Silver also did the same exact thing. Yesterday, we were talking about finding that top in silver. It ended up coming down, and again, late last night is where we got the top in silver. Gave us a little bit of a pullback, right? 6 o'clock, it started rallying back up, and it was kind of a level of basing right in time for the European news, and it continued to drop. But it had already pulled back a decent amount before then. And again, had you gotten short from where we were yesterday, right? We were sitting right here yesterday, right? Did go a little bit higher, and now we are all the way down here. You're down what? Another 30 cents. You could have been down another 50 cents to the downside in silver. So again, my overall take is again, still staying short both of these positions. Silver, I mentioned yesterday they were up, but as soon as it switched, silver would be, twice as high, and it is. Gold's down 0.5 right now. Silver's down 1. So easy moves. As far as let's see, VIX is creeping up a little bit, little gap, but we're kind of where we were, where we closed yesterday. It's not, VIX of 0.64% is not that much. ES, it's trying. We have not gotten the entry. We did break through the 44.21. Looks like it's staying more negative. again, we talked about 4,400 is kind of what we assume that it's going to run down to today. I think I still think it has the ability to do that. That's going to drive me nuts right there. It's a 21 point move. We're kind of there right now. I'd like to see. Let's see. Did we get an entry on it? Yeah, it's kind of doing its basing right now. It's kind of faltering. It's trying. It's 10:30. So again, this is where we tend to see the reversals. Big question is if we, again, when this candle closes in 3 minutes, what is it going to be? More bullish or more bearish? But I think that this one still continues to come down today. I think at this point, I mean, my big question is, will we get all the way down? And this is what I'm wondering: will we get all the way down to 43.85 without a reversal right now? And again, people are like, wait a second, retail sales is great. Yeah, retail sales was good, but unfortunately, it was so good. Um, really, the Fed can't say, oh, listen, things are looking great out there. Retail sales is good, and the inflation, no, inflation's at a 40-year high. People are still spending, so the high inflation hasn't slowed them down yet. Um, it will, but they're worried about crushing the economy. It hasn't crushed them yet, and they've already done one interest rate rise, and people are still spending money. So, um, you know, that's the big thing to look for. But I think this continues to come down. NQ, I'm actually surprised. So it's hit our profit target at the 50. Interestingly enough, the 50 provided a little tiny bit of kickback, but really not much. And the 61.8, it didn't really do much either. So there's a lot of fib reversal traders today that are going to have some issues, right? They've been already stopped out at the 50, probably pretty close to the 61.8, and they're putting all their hopes and dreams at this point into this one turning it the set 78.6. So yeah, I mean NQ was obviously a short from early morning. Was a level that we talked about before we had drawn. So again, it looks like the 9:30 candle is really what took us out. There was not an entry at 9:30. You would already been short in this position. I was not. I was asleep at this point at 1:45 in the morning. But again, I don't set and forget NQ trades. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm actually more surprised. It's kind of interesting that this is getting beat up this much. People are really taking this like, okay, let's take money out of Tesla. Actually, let's see. Um, Twitter is, let's see, stock. Look at that. Drove it all the way up that he's going to buy it, and then the price is all the way back down. So interesting. You know what? Let's add this. How do I add it? I forget. I just drag it? Can I drag it? No. I forget how to do it. Rename, add a symbol. TWTR. There we go. We're gonna throw that one up there. So technically, Twitter is up. It's pulled back from what its high was in the overnight. And he was, I think his thing was at what 54, 54. Yeah, 54.22. So let's mark that off. What was it? What did I say? 54.20. 54.20. Let's do style. Let's do a different color. That's fine. We're gonna go. We're gonna go thick boy on that one. So yeah, up 2%. I was trying to see if there's a direct correlation between these two, but yeah, I don't think Tesla deserves to necessarily be this far down. Again, obviously the lending and the interest rate and everything else, it's getting sucked into everything else. That's probably why Apple is there. But I wouldn't be surprised if one of these two reverses. I don't think NQ deserves to be the weakest. Everything else is kind of just on the cusp. Um, I think it has the ability to turn and roll this afternoon. So we'll see if that one can get up there. But again, we were in the NQ short early today. We're out now. Again, so sorry, fib traders. They both their hopes and dreams got smashed today on this one. Yeah. Let's see YM. So YM, we did not get the break in the entry. The 915 actually. Look at this. This sucker spiked straight up, and now it's starting to roll back down again. So I still like this one for short. Again, it's maintaining its strong rating, and again, retail sales is probably factored into a little bit. But I think when they start talking about interest rates and spending habits, what was probably good for YM is the fact that people are still spending, and it doesn't have the full kind of push in. But interestingly enough, look at that. At 7:45, we did take the bounce. We pushed back down again, but now we've blown through it. So we'll remove this. And what else have we got higher? Oh, it came all the way up, didn't it? It did. It did. There's the top where we drew the fib off of. You can see the candles in there. We're bracketed it off using the bottom of the green or the red. They're the same. Doesn't matter. Pull it all the way across, and that was the turning point. The 100% retracement of that fib level. I'm going to remove it now. Here is the big question: is this a 23? Nah, it went through. So it was close. So yeah, I mean, at this point, even if you take just that surge this morning, you can see we blew through the 50. The 50 didn't even exist. The 61.8 didn't even exist. The 78.6, that one seemed like it worked. But again, off an initial spike, if you're waiting for the 78.6, you're kind of like, ugh. So yeah, I'd say this one breaks, and I would still say, what holds firm when we finally break through this level. Um, this would be a downside entry for me, breaking through 34. Oops, something along those lines. Whoops, not red, right there. 34, 448. All right, Russell. I expected Russell to go lower. Again, same thing, no entry in this one. Wow, talk about stopping people out on this one. Wow. 915. Yeah, look at this nine look at this 930 candle. So the red one right here is the 930 candle, right? Everyone's like, "Oh my god, retail sales is great. They're going to raise interest rates. I'm shorting." Stopped out every short Globex high breakout trade. So everybody trading the Globex high would have got stopped out that 2030 level, right? Really, I guess the Globex high would have been here, 2027. Stopped all those people out, and then right back where we started. Ouch. Sorry. Wow, talk about running stops. Oof. Yeah, that sucks for people. Yeah, there'll be a little hiccup around 51. I'm wondering if this one. I'm curious to see if this breaks, stabilizes on the 50 as fib traders get in, pulls back up again, and then that's where we take our short down. So this doesn't matter anymore because now it has moved from that high. But ouch, look at that. I mean, everybody and their brother being like, yep, I'm shorting this one. Retail sales is great. They're definitely raising interest rates to, it looks good, get in short, and then boom, stopped everybody out. Here's some futures traders that lost some money this morning. As far as opening trade setup, though, this one would not have qualified as well. Was kind of sitting right in the middle, no pullback towards the zone. So let's check it real quick. So unfortunately, here, actually on the 15-minute, you could have got into a trade here. There's your level of basing, right? Your drop, your base, your drop out of there. It didn't quite get all the way up, but you did have an overnight drop, and it maintained. It didn't go as high. And if I mark off this here, it did not breach the top. So technically, it would have been risky. It would have been some drama. There was some pucker effect, but you would have gotten a trade entry. You're well beyond your 1 to 3 at that point. We don't have the Harapata entry yet. Looking to 44. But again, there's one. NQ. NQ is right in the middle. Absolutely, we're already in a trade. You would not have had any type of setup, so that one would not have qualified. Um, let's see, 915, 930. Technically, this one did go up. It did grab that level that we had marked off. So again, a nice spike into there. This would have been one you were looking for a call spread, but this would have been one you had been waiting for. The open is right here, and it would have qualified for any type of an opening trade because, again, it's already hit it 4 times. So I'm not going to count this one. Again, you guys could have grabbed this one. It was an easy top on there for a spike. And again, easy grab, but yeah, I'd still wait for this one just to go short. Let's see Russell. Russell 930. Yeah, Russell was a long actually. Actually, no, it's not. 915 is when it took off. You could have traded this one at 915, and again, it went all the way up. So yeah, you could have taken a long trade out of this one at the open. So maybe 2 out of 4 today. 2 out of 4 you could have traded within 15 minutes of the open today. Um, but yeah, a lot of whips all right at the open today, particularly for anybody trying to get short immediately. And yeah, that's the sentiment. So ouch, ouch, ouch. Sorry for those people. Um, Jesus, natural gas is okay. Remember we talked about natural gas? It just takes one headline um, about we're waiting for make sure we get the confirmation pullback, but I really just don't want to even short because at any moment this could spike. Um, that's a 17, 18. That's a 19 cent, almost 20 cent spike now. Wonder if we got a headline. University of Michigan sentiment is good. Monetary policy. I'm wondering if there's a headline we haven't seen. Actually, I guess it's Thursday. You know what? Let's see what their inventory is. It's 10:30 inventory. Natural storage. It came in exactly as expected. So I mean, again, it came in directly as forecast, right? 15B, 15B. So yeah, would not have really affected too much there at 10:30. But ouch, 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 ouch! Look at that guy. Yeah, and this is why I'm saying you just got to stay bullish. I like, yeah, it did break below that 23 a little bit. So yeah, have fun, natural gas traders. Have fun. God, I would love to know how many people lost large chunks of money at the open today. I Every single one of these whips is like, man, they are just dinging. They were just dinging the retail trader today. So fine, fine, fine. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and do our drawing for today. Let's pull it over here. So Ernest is on a 2-win victory. So Ernest is going for 250 today. Everybody else is going for 25. Who we got in here? We got Debbie, Marina, Will, Sean, Ernest, Nero. I feel like we're missing somebody. I feel like Eki's here today. We got Eki, right? Not bad. Not bad. Look at Debbie. Debbie's like, you know what? I'm gonna sneak in here out. Deb, you got to put a space, I think, right? You got to do a space. Exclamation, ticket, space, and then the number. Or you can just buy ones. Ones work too. Look, Ernest is showing you how to do it, right? He's like, look, exclamation point, space, 3. That's all you need to do, right? You need to put the 3 in there. Now, looks like Ernest is like, what, another 38% chance here? 38% chance of winning. Can he get it 2 days in a row? I mean, technically he's the underdog, but technically not, right? Technically not, because I mean Debbie and Neuro equal Ernest. They're all an equivalent par. Plus, you know, I'm gonna say right now, like these are the red. This is like the red tile, right? This is the black tile, and the ones right now are like the green tiles, right? It's like the green tiles with the roulette board. So, all right, winner of today's drawing is takes it. Neuro had what? 25% chance of winning, right? Ernest couldn't pull 2 38ers in a row. He couldn't do it. Neuro stops him, which is good, Neuro. That's good for you because it cost you 30 pip chips to win 25, so you lost a little bit on that one, right? Right? You got 10, 20. Yeah, so you lost 5 today, but Ernest lost 50. So again, that kind of, you know, this is addition by subtraction, right? Oops, not that one. Addition by subtraction is what this is. And again, if you keep up that, you'll close this range even more, right? Addition by subtraction. It's amazing when you do it that way. It's epic. It's epic. All right, everybody. So with that said, again, no broadcast tomorrow morning. It is a holiday, so I will be off, just relaxing. Um, Besides that, just look for some headlines. This is actually a good week. If you guys are around tomorrow morning, and you're not celebrating, remember the currency markets are open. But what you can do is you can do your weekend homework a little bit early, jump up to those 4 hours, and look for targets. Um, Again, look for some gaps this weekend. Being a longer weekend, there's obviously 3 days involved versus 4, and even Monday. There's some people that are off Monday as well. So you know you have a little bit of extra time to do the extra homework. So with that said, I'm out of here for today. Thank you for joining me, and I will catch you guys back next week. Take care.